Hey, welcome to AnimeXplore, and this is not really an anime video, but welcome to my review of Gotham episode, I believe, 17, The Red Hood Gang. And when you hear the name The Red Hood, you probably associate, or at least think about Jason Todd or The Red Hood Gang from The Killing Joke. And if you think that, you're partially right. This episode of Gotham had pretty much 3 subplots going on simultaneously. We had Fish Mooney's Blindspot, literally. We had the Red Hood Gang association, and we had the little reunion development with Bruce Wayne, Alfred, and Mr. Bane. Now, Mr. Bane is basically one of Alfred's old war soldiers, and he's basically homeless, and I think he's a drug addict or something. He goes up to Alfred's house and finds him in the Wayne mansion, and he basically meets Alfred, and they have pretty much a nice time and shit. They drink the vintage wine, they talk about memories, and then they pretty much press the button that says, "Bad memories, character plot." Now, once he says that, it kind of ruined the entire mood, and it kind of stirred up the fight that was going to happen later. Now, his character, I thought, was kind of explored. It gave us an insight into his character in the end, and we learned about why he actually spilled the beans. And he was actually sparring with Bruce Wayne, let's say. He was kind of teaching Bruce Wayne to channel his anger and try to punch him as strong as he can. Bruce Wayne does one punch that makes him bleed, yo. Later on, in regards to this subplot, basically, Alfred's like, "I kick you out, bro. Just leave the shit. I don't want to see your ugly face." And and Mr. Bane tries to steal, and then he stabs Alfred, putting him in the hospital later on. Now, I think he intended to kill Alfred, so then Bruce Wayne would be too broken to actually focus on the investigation, and that's why the Wayne board can pretty much overwhelm, maybe take part of his Wayne Industries. The second subplot is Fish Mooney's Blindspot, and I'm saying Blindspot literally. So basically the continuation from last episode, when Fish Mooney takes over the basement, and the manager comes in, and he basically is like, "Okay, come on, let's talk." So Fish Mooney speaks to the manager, and it ends up bad for her. She basically says to him, "Yo, we gotta agree on terms. You do what I say, I do what you say, blah blah blah." But then he said, "You have 2 options. Either give me your eyes right now or die." What she did was like, dude, this is some brave shit. She took a spoon and stabbed herself in the ear and took out one of her eyes. So you can finally ask your friends, what do you call a fish with no eyes? So yeah, that joke just killed it, yeah. So what I think this is trying to explore her bravery. Now, when her eye drops to the floor, it was kind of a metaphor or imagery that she has this eye, and then the eye pretty much got smashed by her leg and boob. It could be a metaphor that she's been exposed, and she's a witness of Gotham, that Gotham was the reason she's such a evil character, I guess you could say. That she was the eye, and she saw Gotham and its inconsistencies, and she was the witness, and she saw all these bad things happen in Gotham, and it affected her, and it destroyed the character, and just basically take a bite from her characteristics, from her generous characteristics, which is highlighted by the fact that once the eye was on the floor and just been exposed to all the bad, harsh things in Gotham, she stepped on it. That's it. You know, the eye could be Fish Mooney when she was a girl, a nice person, and she was stepped over by the entity of Gotham's bad stuff. So that is some nice stuff they added. So she's basically now eyeless. Now the final subplot is the Red Hood Gang. Now this is a bit different from the adaptation of the comics. For example, here not everyone has a Red Hood Gang. There's only one, the leader, and this Red Hood is basically an entity that only the leader can have access to this Red Hood, which does cause conflict later on. But this Red Hood is basically an entity that overwhelms you and provides you with courage, kind of like Robin Hood. So once you wear it, you'll be overwhelmed by this entity of dominance, I guess you could say. Now this Red Hood Gang is a bit different from the comics, because here they are basically like Robin Hood, as I said. In the comics, they were actually born, because not really born, but the organization was born from Bruce Wayne's parents' death. So I guess it does make sense in the timeline of things and in how they adapted it from the comics. So basically, what happens is, you know, they have these people in the beginning, and a guy gets the hood, and he explains how only a leader can wear it, and then basically they rob a bank, but they also provide money to the citizens, so it can make a crowd so they can escape. And then they thought, and they incorporated the idea that there could be a Red Hood, but then only the leader could have the Red Hood, because it symbolizes leadership and whatnot. And the fat guy, who later becomes the Red Hood, temporarily shoots him and overwhelms him, and he does agree that it is an entity that overwhelms you and makes it feel like an actual Red Hood leader. So they rob a few banks, and then there's an investigation by Bullock and Commissioner Gordon. And in the end, there's this teenage guy, I don't know his name, and he's like, I need the mask to prove my worth. And he takes the mask, and then this mask provides the essence of recklessness. He overestimates himself. He thinks he's invulnerable. He thinks he's invincible, and that's why he gets shot and he gets killed. And the Red Hood is basically in the streets taken by someone else. People speculate that this guy is Jason Todd, but it would just not make sense. He's not even supposed to be born, for God's sake. This episode, in my opinion, was the go-go. It was an alright episode, well deprived. You know, it's been adapted better than most episodes on the series. But I think they should shed more light on the other subplots, for example, the Fisherman's Blindspot or the Bruce Wayne, because this episode pretty much heavily revolved around the development of Alfred Bruce Wayne. Kind of showed that at the end of the day, Alfred's a butler, but he's like a father as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe and like if you did enjoy.